my Panda Pals, and welcome back to the channel and to another recap. Today we are talking Before the 90 Days, Season 7, Episode 9. I'm not gonna lie, this episode was so boring. It was so boring. Nothing happened, but I am still gonna talk about it. So buckle it up and let's go for a ride. Let's start things off with Vanya and Bozo. Vanya is stuck in Germany waiting for her next flight, and she is finally, just now, able to get in contact with Bozo. You know, for a guy with no job, he is very hard to reach.
I'm so relieved to hear from him. My mind is finally at ease. I am really hoping to get a ring at the end of this trip.
Damn, girl, you are a glutton for disappointment. The man broke up with you for another woman with little to no hesitation, and now you're gonna meet him for the first time and you want a ring in 3 weeks? That's a little cuckoo. Bozo is getting more anxious about meeting Vanya, especially after talking to his mother. So the reason why Vanya can't actually get a hold of him is because he is actively avoiding her calls.
I was nervous, hiding the stuff that I'm jobless, and then, will she be disappointed? So it was like a heavy burden for me.
Eventually, he calms down and he's like, you know what? She's pretty dope and I really don't want to mess this up again. He heads out to pick her up, and his mother prays so damn hard for him. She is probably like, dear Lord Jesus in the sky, please let them have a hasty-ass marriage so that Vanya can finally turn him into the man that I know he is deep down in his heart. Instead of flowers, Bozo actually brings her a houseplant, and at first I was like, that's weird. But apparently Vanya asked for this because she prefers them over flowers because houseplants last so much longer.
Vanya!
Bozo goes ahead and takes Vanya on their very first date right then and there. He knows Vanya loves cooking, so he booked her a cooking class, which is very cute, but if I got off of a transcontinental flight, I would not want the very first thing for me to do be cooking. They work together like a cute little couple with their teachers.
Once you can do this, you're ready for marriage. This is it.
Husband material.
They make something called saparnik, which is a Croatian flatbread, and oh my god, it looks so good. And then they all eat it together as a group. The group asks the couple a bunch of questions like, how did you guys meet? How long have you guys been together?
How did you guys meet?
Online.
In library, in church, at NASA station.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then they ask if the two are madly in love or if things haven't really gotten that serious yet. And Bozo is like, oh, no, we're just friends.
Oh, we are just nice friends.
No, we're not. Why would I be coming all the way from Orlando here for a friend?
Yeah, obviously, Vanya is not super duper happy right now, and who can blame her? If I were in her shoes, I would be very upset right now. Things get really awkward for everybody.
I'm kidding, we are married, my ring is in the car.
I know that he jokes around, but it's really hurtful.
The date ends very awkwardly, and they get into the car and Bozo drives Vanya back to her hotel. Vanya is obviously very confused. She felt like they had such a strong connection from the moment that they saw each other at the airport, so she doesn't really know what would compel him to make a joke saying that they are just friends.
I'm choosing not to bring this up. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding, and we're gonna be able to enjoy the rest of the evening like nothing ever happened.
Girl, communicate your feelings. You cannot prevent misunderstandings by not talking about them. Like, you have to clear the shit up. Vanya really wants Bozo to spend the night with her, but after that cooking class, she doesn't really want to be too pushy. They go on to take the slowest elevator ride up to her place, and I mean, this thing is slow. Like, you could cut off both of my legs and I could crawl up the stairs and get to her room faster than them.
Wow. World's slowest elevator.
Bozo tells us they had such a great connection, but he really meant it when he said that they were just friends.
I appreciate her, but I also don't want to make huge step into the dark, not knowing if there is romantic chemistry there.
Vanya gives him some cookies that she made, and he takes a little nibble and then immediately goes to leave.
Okay. I'm really tired.
There's a beautiful couch available.
Oh no, thank you so much. I will go.
Vanya is super bummed because not only did he tell people that they were just friends, but he's also not going to be spending the night, and he didn't even give her a goodbye kiss before he left. I feel so bad for her. Especially considering the fact that Bozo dumped her, like, with no issue in the past for another woman. If he left my hotel room and didn't even give me a kiss goodnight, like a kiss on the cheek, I would be like, he doesn't like me at all. He hates this. I'm gonna book a flight. I'm gonna go back home. We're never gonna speak about this trip ever again. Let's move on to Ingrid and Brian. Yay! We're back with this douchebag. I am so happy. Brian is at Ingrid's house today because he has asked her to set up a meeting with her parents so that he can finally meet them.
Ingrid did warn me about her parents being tough and not wanting to meet me. I'm super excited and surprised that they did agree.
He is a little disappointed because it turns out that only Ingrid's mother is coming because her father is working. But we all know that his job is not the reason why he is not here.
From what I heard from Ingrid, he probably has preconceived notions about me because of my disability. He's totally avoiding meeting me.
Ingrid does admit that her father does not agree with their relationship and says that it is because they met on the internet and that he used work as an excuse so that he didn't have to meet him. She also says that her mother is not too thrilled about their relationship either.
Pouco nervosa porque ela não é uma pessoa totalmente de mente aberta. Ela tem as suas restrições.
Her mother arrives and Brian gives her a gift. I really hope it's not lingerie. Like, I hope he's smart enough to know that that is not an appropriate gift, but who knows?
Abre aí.
Acabou.
Gostou? Gostou?
It's not, thank God. It is just a purse, but could you imagine? Brian tries to make some small talk and charm the pants off of her. Not literally, thank God. And it doesn't work. Ingrid's mother is just ice cold.
Esposo tá trabalhando hoje?
Tá.
He tells us that he doesn't know if it's because he's in a wheelchair or he's an American, but it is very clear that Ingrid's mother hates him.
Qual que é a sua impressão?
Eu não acho nada de bom, pra te falar a verdade.
Ingrid and Brian head into the backyard to eat, and her mother does not join them. She's like, no, I'm not hungry, and I don't want to eat with you guys.
A bicha é bruta.
Não.
To think somebody would have the audacity to say that I'm not going to eat at the table with you guys.
The man with so much audacity, questioning other people's audacity. Love to see it. Ingrid feels really bad because her mother is making zero effort, and she thinks that at the very least, she should be kind.
Ela tem nojo de cadeirante?
Não sei. A reação dela é estranha. Me sinto mal por ele e me sinto...
I do think Ingrid's mom is being a little bit too harsh. I mean, it'd be one thing if she knew everything about Brian and what he did, but as far as we know, she doesn't, so she's really just ignoring him for no reason.
Qual que é a questão? Ele tá na cadeira de rodas? Não?
Não, isso aí eu tenho preconceito, não tem nada. Por que ela vai arrumar outro lá do outro país pra casar?
I mean, let's be honest, I think the reason is that he's actually in a wheelchair, but they're not gonna say that. The two finish eating and head back inside, and Brian tells her mom, you missed a really good meal. And she's like, okay. Brian asks Ingrid if she's told her mother about their upcoming trip, and her mom is like, you are lucky that her father isn't here because he would never allow that.
Ficar mentindo às vezes assim, vou fazer curso da estética, tal, pra me poder sair.
Brian is like, you are in your 30s. How are your parents still telling you where you can and cannot go?
Ingrid warned me about her parents being tough, but I really didn't think it would be that bad. I didn't think someone could be that rude. They clearly are not supportive of our relationship.
And yeah, that is a little crazy that your parents still have that much control over your life. Like, you are mid-30s, you got 2 kids, like, you should be able to go wherever you want. You should be able to do whatever you want. Like, your parents shouldn't be able to be like, no, you're grounded.
I don't even know how me and Ingrid could have a meaningful relationship if her parents don't accept me.
I hate Brian. I've made that no secret. But I do think that her mother is being very rude. Like, if she was just gonna stand there and watch him eat, then she really should have just said no to the invitation. Let's move on to Loren and Faith. The two are over in Leyte. They are splish-splashing in the water because Faith wants to spend the day with Loren before introducing him to her family tomorrow. Despite him being the literal scummiest man on earth, Faith says that she is gonna do her best to be open-minded, but girly, could you not? They get out of the water and he offers her a foot massage because remember, he needs to try and get back into the boyfriend zone so that he can continue to exploit her for a free place to live. He goes on to ask her about what her life was like here. She tells him that she actually left home when she was 13 so that she could go work in Manila. Her father passed away from a heart attack, and her mother couldn't work because she had twins that were just 2 years old.
It's very hard to be poor. You know, no one helped us to make our life better, so I need the one to help them.
So Faith and her 2 older siblings all left to work, but Faith was the only one who went all the way to Manila.
It's very hard to move in Manila alone. I work hard and I finish high school with my own.
Dude, I loved Faith before, but hearing this story, I have so much respect for her. To be 13 years old and then travel to another city so that you can start working to provide for your family, and also be able to finish high school while doing all that, that is insane. And it makes me so much angrier that she is such a strong, resilient woman and she's with this absolute douche canoe. Loren goes on to be so fucking annoying because he's telling Faith, this woman who was literally pushed into hell and got out with her own 2 hands, that he wants to help her and be her savior.
And I'll do that. Help your mom, help your family, get your brothers to school.
Stop lying. He then has the audacity to ask if she's planning on telling her family about the lying, the cheating on a weekly basis, and the getting an STD. And he's like, cause you can, that's totally up to you, that is your choice. But you know, if you do it, it's gonna make things a lot more difficult for me. No shit, Sherlock. If you act like a total asshole, you can't really be that surprised when people judge you for being a total asshole. Let's move on to Tigerlily and Adnan. Tigerlily is in Texas. She is on her way to Cruz's salon to get her hair done because she's about to head back to see Adnan tomorrow. She also wants some advice because since returning home, Adnan has gotten way more controlling.
Adnan became more controlling. It feels like he has a rule about every single thing in my life.
Cruz asks how things are going, and she tells him that a few days ago she went to go see the chiropractor, and Adnan did not know what a chiropractor was, so he did a little goog, and he sees all of these videos of hot, hunky chiropractors leaning into women, touching these women, and just absolutely breaking their backs, but, you know, not in the sexy way.
I trust this man with my health, so I shouldn't have to argue whether or not I can see him.
So now Adnan wants her to change all of her health providers to female ones, and that really pissed her off. So when he called her the next day, she iced him out for a few hours, and it literally sent him to the hospital.
He was having breathing problems.
That's not normal. It's him trying to like kind of manipulate you, if you ask me.
So yeah, the man had a panic attack because somebody told him no.
He's an adult. He's got to face these adult situations.
I know, that's why we need to get it worked out.
Listen, if you marry a baby, you are gonna have to expect some baby behavior. Tigerlily is like, yeah, we gotta figure this shit out because this trip is supposed to be about raw dogging it for some babies.
I think it's crazy. She wants to have a baby, that they need to get their situation straight before they start procreating.
Cruz is like, what happens if you get pregnant and things don't work out? And that's facts. You can end a marriage, you can't end a baby. Well, I mean, technically you can, but like that would be murder and you'd go to jail and you shouldn't do that. Tigerlily goes to the airport, she's heading off to Turkey to meet her boo, and she's super bummed because this trip is supposed to be fun and about stuffing her full of baby batter. But now she's gotta have a serious adult talk with him about how insane he is being about everything. And she really doesn't want to do that.
I have been hesitant to push back on any issues because I don't want to lose him.
Adnan is over in Turkey and he tells us that everything has been so difficult since Tigerlily went back to the US. He tells us that after he saw what chiropractors do, the thought of a male chiropractor touching his wife was not okay with him.
I feel sick, like I red and blood in my eyes because I am so upset, I'm so mad, I'm so angry, I'm going to hospital.
It's totally fine if you are uncomfortable with your wife being touched by a male chiropractor. I think that's okay. I don't think it's okay that you have a full-on panic attack and almost burst a blood vessel in your brain. Like, that is a little much.
Tigerlily will see me in person, forget everything, make her too mad. I think she will be so happy.
On the plane, Tigerlily tells us that she is done walking on eggshells when it comes to Adnan because she just saw an Instagram story that he had posted of him shirtless in a steamy shower. She texts him to say he needs to take that down now because if she posted something similar, he would have lost his damn mind. And Adnan responded like, LOL, no, I'm a man. I can do whatever I want.
After all these changes I have made for Adnan, what he's doing just seems like a total slap in the face.
Let's move on to Matilda and Niles. Matilda is super confused because Niles proposed to her earlier in the day, and now he's saying that he cannot marry her on this trip.
He told me that I need to wait.
Niles tries to talk to her, and she's like, shut up, bro. What the hell am I gonna tell everyone? And Niles, sweet Niles, tries to gaslight her.
I said that we would discuss. When did you tell me that? I told you that over the phone. When? So many times. You didn't tell me that. Stop lying.
Matilda is like, okay, then why did you come to Ghana? And Niles is like, I wanted to meet you and see if we are compatible for marriage. And Matilda is like, the fuck? You literally said that we were gonna get married. Listen, at this point, it doesn't really matter whether Niles said that they were gonna get married or not, because Matilda definitely had conversations with him, many of them, about the wedding planning that she was doing in preparation for the wedding that was gonna happen when he came to Ghana. He had plenty of chances to correct her, set the right expectations, but he didn't.
You told me that we'll get married on this trip. I said we will plan that on this trip. You didn't say that, please, you didn't say that.
Production also calls him out on this so hard. They're like, bro, you had plenty of time to tell her to stop planning the wedding, but you didn't. And Niles is like, no, I swear I did. And production's like, no, you are saying something very different from what you said to us earlier.
You told me that you knew she was planning a wedding and that you had not expressed to her that you weren't ready to get married yet.
And then Niles gets really quiet, and then he tells us that this is an issue that happens with his autism.
I struggle with these kind of social skills. Sometimes I don't know when I go into a mode where I just don't tell the full truth.
Is that an autism thing? Like, chronically lying? They get back to the hotel, and Niles pulls her away and says before they head into the room, he has a couple of things to say.
I made a mistake, a very bad mistake, okay? I should have just told you. I didn't want to ruin the moment.
Matilda asks when he wants to marry her, and he tells her that he is open to doing the knocking ceremony and going back to the States so that he can think about an actual date for the future.
I should have said, what date do you have in mind? And I didn't. I'm sorry. You have just seen a firsthand example of masking.
But is that masking? I'm so confused. I definitely don't want to mansplain autism to an autistic man, but I really thought that masking was something that people on the spectrum, or honestly anyone, did to present themselves to be more socially acceptable.
I'm very hurt, but at the same time, I love this man. And I'm starting to understand it's difficult for him to communicate.
She tells Niles that he has to promise to come back for her. Matilda's a little nervous that her family isn't going to accept Niles because it is against tradition for someone to wait such a long time to get married after they have the knocking ceremony. Let's end things off with Chidi and Rayne. Rayne is in her hotel, spending the worst day of her life alone.
He let his ways and his false faith come between, and that's where we're sitting.
She's bummed because her asking Chidi to go to the hotel with her turned into Chidi and her family ganging up on her. And she wishes that she never did any of that because if she hadn't, they would be together right now.
I'm a very strong person. I have a lot of pain deep down. I've been hurt so much in the past throughout my life, especially with romantic relationships.
She tells us that Lexi's father just woke up in the middle of the night, gave her a hug, and walked out of her life forever. And that the other men that she's been with have been no better. They were addicted to drugs and they did not love her.
I want to leave, but something won't let me. Spiritually, I feel connected here for some reason, something will happen.
Chidi did not get any sleep last night after his dream of Rayne getting along with his family was ripped to shreds.
My heart is really torn about Rayne because I believe that I am partially responsible for this.
He tells us that it was his choices that led to her frustration, but it does not excuse the way that she behaved towards his family. He sits down with Victoria and Ben, and Chidi tells them that he wants Rayne back, and Victoria is speechless.
What I want to know is this: why would you want to pull yourself through all this? What actually? Because I'm not sure I'm getting it.
Chidi says that his feelings for Rayne aren't limited to just affection, it's also compassion. Rayne has been mistreated and no one's ever loved her in the past, and he promised to never do that to her.
Because I lost my sight, I know what the love of others and compassion of others, how far it can lift one's soul.
Victoria says that he is a man in love and thus he can forget a lot of things, like how how terrible Renee treats him.
There is this war mentality that she has. Is you and me are a team against her. So she doesn't believe in this harmony.
She wants him to find love and go through whatever experiences that he wants to go through. So if he wants to go and get Renee, she's not gonna stand in his way.
I've seen how important she is to you, and I want you to get married. I want you to have a family. I'm not asking you to choose me over her, never.
Renee is washing her clothes, and we get to see her O-face as she smells her own socks.
My sock smells good.
She tells us that she has invited Chidi to come to the hotel to talk things out, but it's been 3 days and she still hasn't heard from him.
I can't figure out why you don't like me so much. Honestly, I mean, I'm not desperate, like I said. I'd like to know the answer for real.
Chidi heads out to meet his best friend Christian. Christian is partially sighted, and I am sorry, but Christian is fine as fuck. Chidi tells him that Renee is at a hotel because she doesn't like how Victoria is always around them.
I can't actually see why he loves Renee. She says certain things that are very strange.
Chidi says that Renee is very prone to anger and she curses and she cusses all the time, but he really thought that she could keep all of that under control if she were in front of his family.
How do you intend moving on? Do you think you can manage her temperament, especially moving in with her or she moving in with you?
Chidi tells him that being blind, it is so overwhelming to be around constant yelling and constant shouting and constant anger. And he doesn't think that he can put up with it in the long run, but he loves her, so he really doesn't know how to move forward.
You know it's not working. Be honest with her.
You think it's that easy? No. Someone you love, someone you vowed to always be there for.
Christian tells him that if he loves her, he has to let her go because it's what's best for both of them. Holding on to this relationship when they know it's clearly not going to work will only continue to hurt the both of them. And claps for Christian! He is hot, he is honest, and he is wise.
If our relationship is irreparable, we cannot continue. It's not going to work out between us.
We get a video of Renee. She is acting all sexy, and despite this making me want to vomit, I do feel a little bad for her because she is super hopeful right now because Chidi reached out to her and asked if they could meet and talk. And she's over here smiling so big like, oh, I knew Chidi would never let me go, never let me walk away. I know that what we have is true, and I know that he's finally gonna see the light and realize how his shitty family is coming in between us. But we all know that Chidi is definitely calling her to end things, so I do feel a little bad, but not that much.
I'm feeling hopeful because I know Chidi. He loves me and he cares for me, and he would never let me walk away.
And that, my Panda Pals, is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you are not subscribed yet, go ahead, click that subscribe button. I know you want to. Give this video a big thumbs up, and let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this episode. I hope to see you for the next one, and as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone.